What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another K-pop news video. And previously, in not too long ago, a couple of days ago, we talked about Top and his whole marijuana drug investigation and stuff like that. And well, we've got some serious major developments going on in that. So he admitted that he had used marijuana, a marijuana substance or something like that, and he's been, I guess, indicted, and he's also been forced to resign his post, to basically resign from his military service. So that is very interesting. So, in this video, of course, like I do with all of my other videos, more or less, is that I'm gonna kind of break down the details a little bit, and then of course talk about what I personally think about this whole thing. So, if that's kind of interesting to you, you want to kind of keep up to date with the news a little bit, and of course just hear what I've got to say about, breaking news in K-pop, then please do consider clicking on the subscribe button down below. So, like I said, last week we kind of talked about in what I thought personally was not a very great video, because I didn't think it was very organized, but this one would probably be better, hopefully, fingers crossed. But last week we talked about how he'd been accused, or it had been revealed that he's under investigation for smoking marijuana on like 3 separate occasions back in 2016, of course, before he started his military service. I think that's kind of key, but ultimately it's irrelevant because at the end of the day he broke the law. And so the way that those events all planned out, as I kind of said, just a brief summary, is he was I guess accused, or he's under investigation. He denied it, said I wasn't, but the person that he was smoking with at his house said that they were, and so now she was arrested. I think she's not really relevant to the story, so we're not gonna talk about her too much or at all after now. And he was under investigation. Well, the results of the investigation, I guess, is that he ends up saying that he actually did. I don't necessarily, well, I did the drugs, basically is what he said. And so obviously that's like, well, you're guilty, you admitted that you did it, so now we are going to take you to court, we're going to press charges. So he's been indicted, and as a result of all of that, he's been forced to, resign from his post at the Gangnam police station, and that's also predictable and understandable. So that is where we stand right now. So my take and my opinion on this hasn't really changed a whole lot from what I put forward in my previous video, and that is that, like, it's the law, right? Regardless of whatever my point of view is, as an American who has a liberal viewpoint on, marijuana laws and just how it should be treated as a drug, right? The law is whatever the law is, whether you're in the United States or in South Korea, you have to abide by the law, and he did not, and so punishment is merited. He deserves to be punished, essentially, because he broke the law. Regardless of whatever my viewpoint and my point of view is, people in Korea, South Korea itself has a completely different viewpoint, and you just have to take that into consideration with this. So now the thing is that, and I also talked about, how potentially is this going to affect, well, the next 3, 4, 5 potentially years of his life and his career. And well, obviously the big thing was, like, if he gets, charged with anything, if he's found guilty of a crime, he's probably gonna have to serve, he potentially might have to serve some sort of jail time. Right, that's definitely a possibility that is on the table, considering how harsh the drug laws are in Korea, and like I said, how harshly they view marijuana, on equal footing as a lot of other harder, or basically other hard drugs, similar to how the United States views it, by the way. So it's very interesting, because if he gets jail time, and this was a thing that I kind of put out there, if he got jail time while he was serving in the military, or he was doing his military service, how is that going to be affected? Well, turns out his military service is going to be affected regardless if he actually gets charged with any sort of crimes or not. If he has to serve some sort of sentence, he's gonna have to re-enlist. And so, I guess thankfully for him, he's only basically gone through, his basic training and a couple months of active service. So he hasn't really been, like, you know, it's not like this popped up like halfway through his, you know, in his first year or second year, you know, after a year and a half of service, and then they're like, you got to go, and then when you're finished with this and the jail or whatever else that you got to do, then you got to come back and then you serve again. And so he's been forced to resign, and that means that depending on the outcome, he will have to re-enlist when this whole thing is basically sorted through the legal system, whether that's like he gets off without doing anything, or of course he has to face some sort of punishment for this. So that's you know, kind of predictable and understandable. Now the interesting thing about this is that the key thing about this is that it's been said that, or at least in the statement that was released, is that he has to resign, but he cannot, when he does re-enlist, he cannot be, you know, I guess be assigned to the same division as he was previously, except for like if there was some special circumstances or something like that. So I'm not really sure what the distinction of like what the division actually means. If division means like division as in police or army or anything else like that. I don't know if that's what division means, or if division means like a police department or something like that. I don't specifically know, but consider it. So going by, you know, the assumption potentially, or one of the assumptions that division doesn't really necessarily, or means like whatever branch of the service that you go into, then he's not going to go back to the police unless they can come up with a really freaking good reason why he can't, because he's kind of being made an example of right now. They're kind of treating him, not really, I wouldn't say harshly as of yet, you know, it's just all justified actions and, you know, things that they definitely should do, but you know, it's just kind of, you know, being drugged through the media and all that stuff, so the public can be like, well, as an idol, he's being treated fairly just like I would be if I was doing drugs or something like that, maybe. But if he potentially might not be allowed to return back to the police, which will be, I guess, interesting. I don't know. It's not really significant, but of course, you know, everyone kind of viewed his posting up at the police posting that he got was like, hey, you got the easy one, dude. You got the easy way out. That's kind of crap. You know, it was YG back there pulling the strings, or somebody using their influence to get you the soft posting. So now he could get assigned to anywhere doing stuff that's hard work or, you know, dangerous potentially, or whatever, you know. It potentially could have a negative outcome. And then there's also the other aspect of that, where like I have to assume, since he's like 30 years old, something like that, right? Or he will be, whatever, that all of those years that he's put in as a performer, you know, the dancing and all this other stuff, the physical aspect of the physical nature of being a K-pop idol definitely probably hasn't been very kind on his physical condition. Also, not to mention too that from what I've heard, he doesn't have a particularly healthy lifestyle in general, so it's very, very possible he will not be fit for, you know, any sort of serious duties. So based off of whatever his health evaluation could be, that's why he ended up getting posted to the police in the first place, and that is where he will be anyway, because he just won't physically be able to handle, you know, like a frontline posting or something like that. So it's all kind of crazy. And then the third thing also to consider is that I do believe you have to be finished with your military service by the age of 37. So, and again, this kind of hinges on how long on like what his punishment is, as far as like jail time, if there is any, or anything like that. It's very possible that like he's gonna be away for the next 5 years potentially, right? And that brings up questions, big time questions, as to what is gonna happen to Big Bang after this. Is Big Bang finished, or are we just not gonna see Big Bang until till 2022 or until like 2020, say? You know, at the nearest. Are we not going to see them for another 3 or 4 years? Or is Big Bang just going to be like, hang it up then and be done, because, you know, one of their members is going to be, you know, gone for such a long time? You know, also kind of considering too that there are other members who are going to the military relatively soon and will be out in the next 3 or 4 years, you know, or 4 or 5 years, I should say, is when they would be due out. So there's all kinds of moving parts with this story that, like, not only does it affect his life personally, but it also potentially has the possibility to affect the other members of Big Bang and their, activities and promotions as the group Big Bang. I don't even know. Not even to mention too the fact that GD is supposed to be releasing music in the next week or so. So who knows what this whole thing's going to do to that. Maybe it's going to get delayed. Maybe the rest of the YG releases are going to get delayed until people kind of like calm down about this whole drama and scandal. Ooh boy, this is a big one. This is a really, really big one, and it just continues to get a little bit bigger, understandably. So that's really all that I've got to say. We basically, I think, ran through all of the different situations and scenarios that could happen, and like none of them look particularly good. He's gonna be gone for, I think like basically an extra 6 months at the very least, or even more, considering how long his whole court case and all that stuff goes. Before he gets to re-enlist and then come back, or he's gonna go serve jail time. He's gonna be gone for longer, and then that's gonna put the future of Big Bang in doubt a little bit. So. Very, very interesting, very, very crazy. This is insane sort of stuff. So that's really all that I got for this video. I want to know what you guys are thinking right now as of basically watching this video and all of the different developments that have come out of this. This story is very, very interesting. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have got to say, your point of view on this story, just your feedback and what your thoughts are on what could possibly happen in the future. So also, maybe if I don't know anything or I was misinformed, of course, correct me down in the comments below too. I definitely do appreciate that. So, let's get a little discussion started going on down in the comments below. And that's what this community is all about, having some friendly and respectful discussion about the topic of the video. So drop a comment down below, and if that is kind of the community that you're interested in joining, then please do consider clicking on the subscribe button down below so that you can join this community and of course become a part of the discussion. So that is going to be it for this video. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.